All right? We've had it said today, a vote. When enough new believers were converted and baptized, you vote out the dead wood. The sequel is not the method, but the principle, evangelistic soul winning. So I want you to understand. Now, we all know John Maxwell, the guru of leadership. He went to his church in San Diego, California. It was running about 800, and the church board gave him difficulty. They had a lock on the finances, and John couldn't do anything. He really wondered why he went there. He said, now how can I break this lock on this church? 800, and the church board, he said, the men were not, according to his holiness standard, separated to God, and he didn't know how to get them out, although the church had voted him in. And in the first election, he tried a little politics, and it backfired on him. And then he started something. He began a Saturday morning's prayer meeting. And he went to a man in the church. He said, would you give me $200 a week to feed prayer partners? I'm going to use the $200 a week to buy the biggest breakfast. He went to two couples, elderly couples. Would you come and serve the breakfast? And when he announced his prayer meeting, the board came to him and said, you can't do that. And he said, since when do you have to vote on prayer? And they said, well, what about the money? He said, the money's donated, the labor's donated. And I spoke several times for John in this prayer meeting. He'd have about 300 men would come to this prayer meeting. This became the focus of new life and a new direction in the church. This became the focus. And so what happened? You don't have to vote on it. It's going to be paid for. He said, you don't have to come, the board, you don't have to come. Just those who want to pray comes. And so he had over 300 men. Now, those group of men turned that church around. Let me tell you why John turned the church around. At the end of the prayer meeting, he would come down and kneel, and he would have the 300 men come around and lay hands on him. Now, not every man could lay hands on John, but they could lay hands on somebody who could lay hands on someone, and so they prayed over John. And then he said, this is a great idea. They really identified. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, he would have about 10 or 12 men come before his first service. He would kneel down in front of his study in the church hallway so everyone could see, and he would kneel down and have the men pray over him. And then they went to the upper room and prayed during the first service. Then for the second service, the same thing, another 10 or 12 men. The third service, another 10 or 12 men. And John learned leadership. He learned how to get the men with him. And as a result, they came, and as a result, John said, next time we have an election, let's put men on the board who are the heart and core of our prayer team. And so he touched them at their heart's level.